Hi everyone, I'm Ellie from Code of the Future, and today we're going to be exploring strings in Python. Okay, so we have jumped straight into PyCharm and I have created a strings Python file ready to start doing a little bit of coding. So the first thing we're going to put here is strings, just to remind ourselves that's exactly what we're covering today. One of the first things I'm going to say, and I'm going to write this down as well because I think this method works quite well, is when I write it down as well as speak at you, is saying we have already covered strings, integers, floats, booleans and lists. Okay, these are the things that we've covered so far, and these are the building blocks for you to start your coding journey, to understand how coding works. And what we're going to say about this is integers, floats and booleans are all considered to be simple data types. And what I mean by that is they cannot be broken down. Okay, perfect. However, lists and strings, and as we've already seen from a list video, lists can be broken down. We can take elements from lists, we can slice them, we can make them smaller, make them bigger, add elements, and we can do a whole range of different things with lists. And the same can be done in strings. So what we're going to say is lists and strings are different. They are made up of smaller pieces which can be broken down. Okay. And that's something that we're going to explore in this video, is how we can break down strings and do some cool little things with strings. You may think, well, how on earth can we break strings down? You know, lists, they have different elements. Strings are the same, they have elements, but they are characterized as characters. So in a string, let's say we have hello. Obviously this is going to come up red, we'll just pop it in hashtags first. We have hello, and here we have 5 different characters. And what we can do in Python is we can remove certain characters, we can add characters, we can do a whole range of different things. So that's what we're going to cover today, and hopefully show you what cool things we can do with strings. Okay, so we've grasped the basic idea of how lists and strings differ from that of integers, floats and booleans, and now we're going to get hands-on and show you some of the things that we can be doing with strings. Okay, so we already know what strings are, so let's put print. We go with the classic hello world, yeah, and then we're going to say print type hello world. So this is just something that we've done previously, and it's just reiterating exactly what strings are. So let's just run this Python file here. Perfect. It prints hello world, which is what we've asked it to print here, and similarly we've asked it to print the type, which is a string. So if you are completely new and this is the first video you've watched on strings, essentially strings are written in quotation marks, and we can tell whether something is a string or not by recalling type. Okay, so perfect. So we already know what strings are. Now let's show you some operations you can do with strings. So let's say operations on strings. Okay, so operations on strings. So the first thing we're going to do is say addition, sign, concatenation. Perfect. I actually spelt it right that time. Concatenation is quite a difficult word to spell, and I think I may say it wrong as well. So, but anyway, addition, sign, concatenation. And we have touched upon this briefly in a previous video, but we're going to show you it again today, just to show you what you can do with strings. So we're going to say greeting is going to equal hello, okay, and then we're going to say name equals, now my name is Ellie, so we're just going to pop Ellie, and then we're going to say print greeting plus name. Okay, so we're going to show you what this will do. Okay, so we're going to run this and see what happens. Okay, perfect. Not exactly what we want. So what this has done is it's taken greeting, which is assigned as this string variable hello, and this addition sign here will concatenate the two together. So this is why we have no space in between, and obviously we would quite like a space in between. So the way that you can overcome that is simply by putting a space at the end of hello, or a space at the start of Ellie. So we'll go with the space at the start of Ellie, and we'll click run. There we go. Hello Ellie. Perfect. And this really helps when we have things like, you know, my name is, and then input a name, my age is, and input an age, my shoe size is, and input a shoe size. It's very nice, we can concatenate numbers and letters and things together. Something else that's really worth noting is we're just going to say down here, I'm going to just as a side, I'm going to say print my shoe size, not show, my shoe size is, okay, and then we'll put a comma and we'll say 5, and then I'm going to say and my age is, and we're going to put 21. Yeah, still a student, still going, and we'll click run. Okay, so here it says my shoe size is 5 and my age is 21. So this is a way of incorporating strings with numbers. If you'd already assigned this earlier, you know, above, and then you could equally put it in here. So I could put greeting in here. Obviously it's not going to make any sense whatsoever, but we'll run it. My shoe size is hello and my age is 21. Okay, so that's just a way that you can incorporate strings with variables and numbers as well. So we're just gonna delete that for now. Okay, perfect. So that's the first thing that we've done. Managed to get 2 strings and put them together into a phrase. The next thing we're going to look at is the star operator. Okay, so I'm going to say print name multiplied by 3. Okay, and we're going to run. Okay, it says Ellie, Ellie, Ellie. And obviously remember there are spaces because we put a little space here. So similarly, if I was to put here greeting multiplied by 3 and we run, it will come up with hello, hello, hello all together because we don't have a space in between. Okay, so the star operator will multiply certain strings together. We can extend this further by saying, okay, well, let's take greeting plus name multiplied by 3. Okay, so you may look at this and think, well, it's going to say hello, Ellie, hello, Ellie, hello, Ellie. But watch what happens. So we're going to click run. Aha, hello, Ellie, Ellie, Ellie. And what's happened here is it's taken, let's print the greeting plus the name, so my name Ellie, multiplied by 3. So the way that if we wanted to say hello Ellie 3 times, we would just put an extra bracket in here and we'd say greeting plus name, and then we'd multiply all of that by 3. Okay, we'll run that, and there we go. Hello Ellie, hello Ellie, hello Ellie. Obviously there isn't a gap, and the way that we'd overcome that is just by putting maybe a space at the start of this one. But for now we're just gonna get rid of all the spaces and just leave them as strings all together like that. Okay, so that's how the star operator works. The very brief introduction into the star operator is quite handy. Okay, so that's the star operator. We're now going to show you the index operator. So the index operator is very similar to that of lists, where you can recall a specific index. So like we did with lists, you could recall a specific element, and in strings we can recall a specific character. So the way we're going to do that is very similar to lists. So if you've watched my video on lists, then you'll know, hopefully you'll know how to do this. If not, I'm going to re-teach you all anyway. Okay, so we're going to reassign name, and as a celebration of my 300th subscriber, I'm going to say Brad, because my 300th subscriber was Brad, a guy called Brad. So thank you, Brad, for being my 300th subscriber. A little side note as well, thank you to everyone who does support this channel and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. So there you go, Brad. That's your shout out for being the 300th subscriber. So we're going to do a little bit with Brad's name. So let's say name is Brad, and what we're going to do is let's print name square brackets 2. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so it's returned A. Now if you remember from lists, what this is doing is it's taking name and it's returning the 3rd element in the list. So, and this is something that if you watch the list video you'll know exactly what this means. So the way that this index operator type thing works is it will start from 0. So if I type in 0 and we run, we would expect to get B. Perfect. So the way that the index operator works is it will start from 0 and then go up. So you may think, intuitively you may think, well, if I put in 1 it'll return the 1st element, and similarly 2 it'll return the 2nd. That doesn't work in Python, and you'll notice that a lot in Python. It complicates things slightly, but it's something that you'll just get used to. So 0 will return the 1st element, 1 will return the 2nd, 2 will return the 3rd, and 3 will return the 4. So essentially whatever value you put in here, it will return intuitively in your brain 1 above that. So let's say we do 2, it will return the 3rd one like before, and it will be A. Similarly, we could say let's print name 0 plus name 3. Okay, and we'll run this. Okay, and it takes BD. So what this is doing is it's taking the 1st element, which is B, and it's concatenating that with the 4th element. Remember, it's plus 1. Okay, perfect. Now we can extend this index operator further by slicing strings. Okay, and we did this in lists as well. So what I'm going to say is print name colon. Okay, so what this is going to do is whatever value we put between here, it will take it from the first and then go up to this -1. So this may seem a little bit complicated, but we're going to say take the name from the 0 element, which we know is the first element, and take it to, let's say 2. Okay, so what's really worth remembering is it's going to take the 0th element, which is the first, so we know that's B, and then it will take it up until this, the 3rd element, -1. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what this does. It takes a bit of time to get your head round. Okay, so what this has done is it's taken BR, so it's taken the 0th element, which is the first, and it's taken it up to the 2nd element, which is the 3rd, -1. Okay, so similarly, if I was to put 4 in here, we would hope it would do the whole expression. Brad, perfect, there we go. This is a little bit of an insight into slicing strings. Similarly, we could put name, and you could put a colon, and you can take it to 2. Now this is just saying this is going to start from the starting point, so 0, and it's going to go up to 1, remember. There we go, BR. And then similarly we can say print name 2, and we leave that empty, and we would hope it would go from the 2nd element, which is the 3rd in the name, so that is A, and then it will go to the end, so this is going to print AD, we hope. There we go, AD, perfect. So that's a bit of an insight into slicing strings. I'd say slicing strings can get a little bit complicated. It does take a bit of time to understand and get your head around, but once you've got it, you'll remember it forever. So, don't worry if this seems a little bit hard. I'm now going to show you how you can do lowercase and uppercase. So this is something that we touched upon in the rock, paper, scissors tutorial that I did, showing you how to do a rock, paper, scissors game against your own computer. And it's very, very simple. All we do is we say, so we'll have a new name. Sorry, Brad, I'm going to take my name back. We're going to say Ellie, and we're going to say print name dot lower. Okay. And then equally we're going to say print name dot upper, and what this will do is, and you'll notice it, let's click run, it takes this string and it takes it all lowercase, and then it will take it all uppercase. So similarly, if I had a big capital L in there and a capital E, and we click run, it will still do the exact same. It will say Ellie all lowercase and Ellie all uppercase. That's just something, a nice little side note that we can do with strings. It's just something I thought I'd include in here because I have touched upon it in a previous video. Another thing that we can do is we can count how many times a character appears in a string. Okay, so, and sorry Brad, this is why I took my name back, because I have E repeated twice and L repeated twice. So what we're going to say is, obviously my name is Ellie as defined up here, and what we're going to say is we're going to say print name dot count quotation marks L. Okay, we'll run this. 2. So what this is saying, it's saying print how many times L appears in name. So similarly, I could put I in here and we can run, and it comes up with 1. Okay, very nice. We can also replace specific characters with other characters. Okay, and the way that we do that is we say print, okay, name dot replace, okay, open brackets. Now I want to replace the letter L with the letter D. Okay, so we'll run this. Perfect. My name is now Eddie. Similarly, you can change this to anything, so I don't know, R, Eri. You can change it to anything you want. I think Eddie works quite well because it actually shows you that you can change my name into another name, completely different name. So it's quite nice. I quite like the whole replacing things. Something that I'm going to say about this and what I've used throughout, we can, instead of just printing, we can assign them as new variables. So let's say, for example, let's just put name equals Ellie. So we're just going to do it all again. We don't have to because name is assigned up here, but just showing you what I'm doing, I'm going to just repeat it down here. So name equals Ellie, and then we're going to say new name equals name dot replace, and similarly we're going to say L and replace that with D, and then we're going to say print the new name. Okay, and we'll run this. There we go, Eddie. So this way allows you to assign a new variable and then recall it. This way is simply just printing it. This way is a little bit neater if you then want to manipulate the new name, but either way, if you're just experimenting, either of these both work. Okay. Another nice thing we can do in strings is finding the length of a string. Okay, and this is very similar to lists. Again, all we do is we say print the len, so length of name. Okay, and name is what we've assigned here. We'll click run, and it tells us 5. So there are 5 characters in my name. Similarly, we could make the longest name here. So let's say name is that, you know, that could be somebody's name somewhere. And we'll click run, and it tells us there are 22 characters in this. Okay, we're just going to delete that for now because I don't want to be manipulating anything else further with that. We're just going to stick with Ellie, and as I said, it's got 5 characters in it. Perfect. Another thing we can do is we can format strings. So the way that we do this is we'll say your name will equal input your name. Okay, and then we're going to say hello will equal hello, and we're going to have these squirrely brackets. Then at the end of the string we're going to say dot format your name. Okay, and then we're going to say print hello. Okay, and we're going to run this, and I'll just show you what happens. So we're going to run. It says your name, so my name is Ellie, and we're going to press enter, and it says hello Ellie. Okay, so we're just going to add a space in there. So we're going to click run. Okay, so again it says your name, so Ellie. There we go, hello Ellie. Okay, so this way is a very nice way of being able to get Python to ask you your specific name. So if you do this on your computer, you put your own name in, and then it will print out your name formatted with a string. So it's kind of a way that's better than putting plus, because that's concatenation. Formatting is definitely more of an efficient way. So that's a really nice kind of interactive thing with the user. I'm going to get stuck into the nitty-gritty stuff now and show you something a little bit more in depth. And what I'm going to say is each letter in Python is assigned to a specific number. Okay, so that may seem a little bit confusing to you, but essentially in Python, each letter, say it's A, that will correspond to a specific number. So what we can actually do is perform some maths with strings, which may seem completely, you know, mind-blowing. You may think, well, how am I gonna get a string that says hello world and do some maths on that? And we're going to show you that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do, just to wrap your heads around how this works, is we're going to say print. We're going to print orange is less than, let's say, strawberry. Okay. And you may think, what on earth are we doing right now? Why are we saying is orange less than strawberry? But just watch what happens. Okay, so it's asked me to input my name again. So we're just going to comment all of this out. And then when I run this again, it's not going to ask us for that. Okay, perfect. So here we go. True. It tells us that orange is indeed less than strawberry. And you may think, what? And essentially, as I've said, each letter in Python is assigned to a specific number. And the way that we can figure out exactly what number is which letter and which letter is what number is by doing the following. So we're going to say print odd, okay, and let's say O, because we have O here. And similarly, let's say print character, let's pick a random number, let's say 38, and we're just going to run this Python file. Okay, so what has happened here is it tells us that O is assigned to 111, and the character that corresponds to 38 is this add sign. So characters aren't just limited to specific letters, so let's just say, let's change this to 78, and we run it again. That tells us it's N. Okay. So characters aren't limited to just letters. As on your keyboard, we have lots of different characters. We've got addition sign, multiplication signs, all these different types of signs, and Python factors that in their character in this CHR command here. And similarly, order will just return any kind of value you want. So I could put in here capital O and just watch. We originally had 111 for lowercase o, and we could click run. Now we have 79. Okay. So that's something also to bear in mind, is lowercase and uppercase have different values. This may seem a little bit confusing to you. It definitely took a while for me to get my head around the fact that letters have numbers and numbers have letters. So what we can say about this is we can perform maths on strings, which I think is pretty cool. I know I'm from a maths background myself, but I think it's quite cool that we can ask Python whether orange is less than strawberry or shoe is less than sock. You know, things like that. I just think it's quite cool. It's a nice little touch in Python. Now what we're going to touch upon is in and not operators. Okay, and this is very, very simple, very quick. We're going to say print. We're going to reassign a string again. So let's say fruit is, and let's call it banana. Oh, banana. And let's say print A in fruit. And let's also print S not in fruit. Okay, so we're going to run this and then I'll explain what's happening. Okay, so both are true. So what this is saying is print whether A is in fruit, and our fruit here is banana. So we know that A definitely does appear in banana. It appears 3 times. And then this is saying S not in fruit. And obviously we know there's no S in fruit. We could add an S on the end of here, so bananas instead of banana. Click run, and it says false, because S does in fact appear in fruit. So that's a very, very brief overview of in and not operators in strings. Very, very nice, handy again. Now to finish off, we're going to incorporate a few things we've learned so far. We're going to let X equal hello, and we're going to let Y equal to nothing. Now we're going to say for character in X, so we're incorporating the for loop in here. Indentation again, we need an indentation in loops. So for character in X, we're now going to say Y is going to equal character dot upper plus Y, and then we're going to print Y. Okay, so I'll explain what this is doing. It's going to take for character in X, so each character, so H-E-L-L-O, it's going to let Y equal that specific character uppercased. It's going to make that character uppercase. Then it's going to add Y. So to start with, it will take H. It'll let Y equal to H uppercase plus Y, and to start with, Y is assigned as nothing. Then it will go around again, and it will take E, and it will let the new Y equal to E uppercase plus the previous, which was H. So what you'll notice is if I click run, it does hello backwards. And you may look at this to start with and think, oh, it's just going to produce hello. But the way that it's working is it's going in reverse, because it's taking each of these and then it's adding Y. Similarly, if we were to put here Y plus character upper, and we get rid of that and we click run, it will do hello. So that's just something to bear in mind, is depending on where you put things, if you concatenate characters together, sometimes it will go for a different way. So that's just something to bear in mind. I'm going to keep it with plus Y because it's quite cool that we can keep it as plus Y, just because then we get a nice, we get it backwards. Okay, perfect. So that's incorporating a few things that we've learned so far. The next video is going to be a mini project again, and it's going to be on making your own random password generator, and that's going to incorporate a load of things that we've done in this video. Just give you another mini project again. I think the mini projects have received such good feedback from everyone, so I'm keeping going with the mini projects. It puts everything that you've done into practice, and I personally believe that projects are one of the most rewarding things you can do as a beginner. It's things that you can add to your portfolio as well. Another thing that I'm going to say is that we will be doing a video at the end of this series on how you can upload your own code to GitHub and do a little bit of a tutorial on how GitHub works. We're going to get to the end of the series and then focus on that. But that is the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please like, subscribe and comment. And I will see you all in the next video, where we'll be doing a random password generator. So I'll see you all then.